Are you struggling to stay focused? Do your goals feel far away because motivation fades too quickly? You are not alone, we have all been there. But here's the truth. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's not about being hard on yourself. It's about showing up even when no one's watching. It's about choosing long-term rewards over short-term comfort. We are here to motivate you to start your own journey of discipline, one step, one choice, one habit at a time. Let these quotes guide and inspire you. Discipline helps us stay focused on our long-term goals. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. When you stay consistent in your actions, small efforts begin to add up. John C. Maxwell once said, "Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements." Success does not come from one big move. It is the result of daily effort. Jim Rohn put it simply, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Without self-discipline, the path to success becomes blurry." Lou Holtz made this clear. Without self-discipline, success is impossible, period. With discipline, you unlock new possibilities. Theodore Roosevelt believed that with self-discipline, all things are possible. There will be days when motivation fades, but that is when discipline steps in. Mel Robbins advised, "Do what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like doing it." Every action begins with a thought. Napoleon Hill reminded us, self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you cannot control what you think, you cannot control what you do. True discipline brings dignity and pride. Abraham Joshua Heschel expressed this beautifully. Self-respect is the fruit of discipline. Winning over the world starts with winning over yourself. As Plato wisely said, "The first and best victory is to conquer self. Every action or inaction is within your control." Aristotle observed, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." The strongest people are not those who act on impulse, but those who remain steady in chaos. Horace wisely said, "Rule your mind, or it will rule you." Freedom begins when you are in control of yourself. According to Epictetus, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Discipline is what turns impossible goals into possible steps. David Goggins often said, "It is a lot more than mind over matter." It takes relentless self-discipline to schedule suffering into your day, every day. Discipline is the pain you choose now to avoid regret later. Charles F. Glassman observed, "Self-discipline is often disguised as short-term pain, which often leads to long-term gains." The mistake many of us make is the need for short-term gratification, which often leads to long-term pain. Discipline is the true path to freedom, not pleasure. Frank Herbert in Dune wrote, "Seek freedom and become captive of your desires." Seek discipline and find your liberty. Discipline is not born from ease, it's forged in resistance. Lao Tzu's taught, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." Discipline is more powerful than talent. It is what makes potential real. James Allen explained, "Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. Your self-worth is built when you make disciplined choices." Dan Kennedy said, "Self-discipline is the magic power that makes you virtually unstoppable. Discipline is the silent architect of character." Seneca wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." You cannot change everything, but you can choose how you think. Marcus Aurelius believed, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When pressure hits, we fall to our level of training." Archilochus explained this best, "We do not rise to the level of our expectations." We fall to the level of our training. Freedom comes from self-control, not from doing whatever you want. Jocko Willink famously said, "Discipline equals freedom. Consistency is what builds lasting results." Robin Sharma once stated, "Success is created through the performance of a few small daily disciplines that stack up over time. Do not let your desires dictate your decisions." In the Bhagavad Gita it says, "The senses have been conditioned by attraction to the pleasant and aversion to the unpleasant. Do not be ruled by them. A disciplined mind brings peace." The Buddha noted, "There is nothing so disobedient as an undisciplined mind. As obedient as a disciplined mind." True discipline is about commitment, not convenience. Tony Robbins captured this when he said, "Discipline is the foundation upon which all success is built. Lack of discipline inevitably leads to failure." You cannot wish for it, you have to work for it every day. Will Smith once said, "Self-discipline is the center of all material success. Discipline is not punishment, it is preparation." Elbert Hubbard defined it as, "Self-discipline is the ability to do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. Without control, even talent goes to waste." Andrew Carnegie wisely said, "No man will make a great leader who wants to do it all himself, or to get all the credit for doing it. The journey to mastery is paved with discipline." Bruce Lee emphasized this with, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. When you control your habits, you control your future." Benjamin Franklin once said, "Your net worth to the world is usually determined by what remains after your bad habits are subtracted from your good ones. Discipline is what remains when the excitement fades." Mike Tyson stated, "Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. Let your choices reflect your goals, not your moods." Darren Hardy wrote, "A daily routine built on good habits and disciplines separates the most successful among us from everyone else." Being disciplined means choosing progress over comfort. T.D. Jakes reminded us, "You cannot be a leader and not be disciplined. You do not need motivation every day. Discipline carries you through." Andy Frisella once said, "Discipline is the root of all good qualities. Success requires sacrifice, and discipline is the price." Inky Johnson shared, "Discipline is the ingredient that holds every dream together. Discipline gives you the power to stand firm." Admiral William H. McRaven said, "If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed." The most successful people are not the most talented, they are the most disciplined. Kobe Bryant once shared, "I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. Discipline keeps you on track when life throws distractions." Eric Thomas said, "The difference between those who succeed and fail, not talent but grind, discipline, and resilience. It is what you do when no one is watching that defines you." Alan Armstrong said, "Champions do not become champions when they win the event, but in the hours, weeks, months, and years they spend preparing for it." Discipline sharpens talent into greatness. Zig Ziglar believed it was character that got us out of bed, commitment that moved us into action, and discipline that enabled us to follow through. Every small effort counts. Steve Jobs said, "I am convinced that about half of what separates successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance. Discipline isn't a trait, it is a decision you make daily." Greg Plitt stated, "The difference between a winner and a loser is that the winner works harder, gets up earlier, and stays later. Even the best plans mean nothing without discipline." Stephen Covey said, "The undisciplined are slaves to moods, appetites, and passions." Staying on course takes more than talent, it takes control. Thomas Huxley said, "Do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not." Discipline builds character that lasts beyond one success. Bob Proctor believed, discipline is giving yourself a command and following it. It is not the loudest voice that wins, but the most disciplined one. Will Bennett shared, discipline is consistency of action. Hard work is nothing without structure. Bear Bryant once said, "It is not the will to win that matters. Everyone has that. It is the will to prepare to win that matters." The grind is not always fun, but discipline gets you through it. Tim Grover, trainer to elite athletes, said, "Success is not owned, it is leased, and rent is due every day." When you stay disciplined, you stay ahead. Muhammad Ali said, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, do not quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." Discipline keeps dreams alive long after excitement fades. Oge Mandino wrote, "Always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later." Without discipline, success becomes a matter of luck. Dennis Waitley said, "The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job at hand, and the determination that whether we win or lose, we have applied the best of ourselves." Discipline teaches us to control the moment, not be controlled by it. Brian Tracy said, "Your ability to discipline yourself, to set clear goals, and then to work toward them every day will do more to guarantee your success than any other single factor." It is what you practice daily that becomes your legacy. James Clear wrote, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become." Discipline helps you say no to short-term pleasure for long-term success. Warren Buffett once said, "We do not have to be smarter than the rest. We have to be more disciplined than the rest. Success rewards those who are consistent." Grant Cardone advised, "Success is your duty, obligation, and responsibility." Champions are made long before the spotlight. Michael Jordan revealed, "You have to expect things of yourself before you can do them. Focus on effort, not just the end goal." Angela Duckworth, author of Grit, explained, "Enthusiasm is common, endurance is rare. Dreams demand structure." Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said, "Success at anything will always come down to this focus and effort, and we control both. Be tougher than your excuses." Les Brown declared, "You must be willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. Push past resistance." Stephen Pressfield in The War of Art said, "Resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. It will perjure, fabricate, it will seduce you. Consistent effort outperforms rare inspiration." Kevin Cruz wrote, "Life is about making an impact, not making an income." True discipline is not about restriction, it is about becoming the person you were meant to be. Katharine Hepburn once stated, "Without discipline, there is no life at all. No matter how talented you are, it is your discipline that decides how far you will go." Marie Forleo remarked, "Success does not come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do consistently." Discipline trains the mind to focus on what's important instead of what's tempting. Mahatma Gandhi reminded us, "The future depends on what you do today." Every step forward demands that you stay loyal to your path, especially when no one is watching. Jeff Fisher shared, "Discipline is doing what you really do not want to do so you can do what you really want to do." There is no shortcut to greatness, only small, daily discipline choices. Harry S. Truman observed, "In reading the lives of great men, I found that the first victory they won was over themselves." The most powerful form of freedom is earned through self-discipline. Friedrich Nietzsche explained, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded. That is the nature of living creatures." The ordinary become extraordinary through consistent, disciplined effort. Albert E. N. Gray explained, "The successful person has the habit of doing the things failures do not like to do." To reach your highest potential, start by showing up for yourself every single day. Sir Edmund Hillary said, "It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. Strength is not in how loud you are, but how focused you remain in silence." John Locke believed, "The discipline of desire is the background of character." Discipline turns chaos into structure and dreams into reality. David Campbell noted, "Discipline is remembering what you want. Stay true to your goals even when distractions surround you." Steve Pavlina pointed out, "The more disciplined you become, the easier life gets. If you can control yourself, you can conquer anything." John Wooden explained, "Discipline yourself and others won't need to." Discipline allows you to control the direction of your life instead of letting circumstances do it for you. Will K. Hope said, "Self-discipline is when your conscience tells you to do something and you do not talk back." Real freedom starts when you can say no to your excuses. Mortimer J. Adler remarked, "True freedom is impossible without a mind made free by discipline. Every time you say yes to discipline, you are saying yes to your dreams." Royla Smith wrote, "Discipline is the refining fire by which talent becomes ability. Do not wish it were easier. Work on being more disciplined." William Arthur Ward noted, "The price of excellence is discipline. The cost of mediocrity is disappointment." Sticking to the plan when no one's watching, that is real discipline. Thomas Jefferson warned, "Do not bite at the bait of pleasure till you know there is no hook beneath it." Discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Grenville Kleiser believed, "By constant self-discipline and self-control, you can develop greatness of character. Your greatest power lies in your ability to choose discipline over distraction." The Dalai Lama shared, "A disciplined mind leads to happiness, and an undisciplined mind leads to suffering." Every champion was once a beginner who refused to give up on discipline. Vince Lombardi reminded us, "The difference between a successful person and others is not a lack of strength, not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will." Your destiny is not determined by luck, it is carved by discipline. Deepak Chopra encouraged, "In the midst of movement and chaos, keep stillness inside of you. Discipline creates habits that shape destiny." Charles Duhigg wrote, "Change might not be fast, and it is not always easy, but with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped." Discipline is the defining trait that separates winners from the rest. Thomas Peterffy once said, "Self-discipline is what separates the winners and the losers." Discipline today determines your success tomorrow. Gary Ryan Blair noted, "The discipline you enforce today determines the successes you will enjoy tomorrow." Discipline may feel hard now, but it is profitable in the long run. Darren Patrick observed, "Discipline is rarely enjoyable, but almost always profitable." True progress requires discipline as much as desire. Sam Moore believed, "Once you set the goal, it takes fierce discipline to reach it. Discipline unlocks personal strength and purpose." Zero Dean wrote, "Self-discipline is a key to many doors, not least of which is one that leads to a better, stronger, and healthier version of yourself. Discipline clears the path between vision and reality." Alex Gary said, "Self-discipline paves the way to turn your dreams into reality." Discipline is a willingness to persist beyond resistance. John W. Gardner stated, "All excellence involves discipline and tenacity of purpose. Internal discipline must match external standards." Joseph Addison observed, "Self-discipline is that which next to virtue truly and essentially raises one man above another. Success begins with discipline in action." Robert Collier famously said, "Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out." Discipline prioritizes future vision over present comfort. Alexander Patterson noted, "The secret of discipline is motivation. When a man is sufficiently motivated, discipline will take care of itself." Discipline connects daily choices to lasting identity. Heraclitus taught, "Day by day, what you choose, what you think, and what you do is who you become." Discipline is relentless consistency over time. Jim Ryoon shared, "Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Discipline is the foundation for true inner peace and success." Mike Ditka highlighted its deeper meaning. Success is not measured by money or power or social rank. Success is measured by your discipline and inner peace. Discipline can make the smallest group formidable. George Washington said, "Discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable, procures success to the weak and esteem to all." Discipline transforms disadvantage into strength. Robert T. Kiyosaki noted, "Self-discipline is the number one delineating factor between the rich, the middle class, and the poor. Discipline is freedom wrapped in self-control." Anne Lamott insightfully stated, "All freedom comes from discipline. Discipline meets resistance and persists beyond it." John W. Gardner stated, "All excellence involves discipline and tenacity of purpose." Discipline means doing what matters even when it is inconvenient. Mike Murdoch shared, "You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. Discipline is control over your emotional state and focus." Norman Vincent Peale said, "Discipline your mind to think positively. Discipline your emotions to react constructively. Discipline empowers action even in doubt and discomfort." Walter Elliott wrote, "Perseverance is not a long race, it is many short races, one after another." Discipline rises above laziness and excuses. Jimmy Johnson reminded, "The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. Discipline gives you strength when motivation fades." Gary Keller wrote, "Success is actually a short race, a sprint fueled by discipline just long enough for habit to kick in and take over. Discipline transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary results." Margot Jennings reminded us, "Discipline breeds success, cultivated daily. Discipline sustains momentum long after enthusiasm fades." Grace Miles said, "Discipline is about doing it now, not later. Discipline demands patience, focus, and perseverance." Harriet Beecher Stowe noted, "The pain of discipline is short, but the glory of the fruition is eternal." Discipline is the blueprint for success. Chase Evans stated, "Discipline is the key to achieving your wildest dreams." Discipline outlasts motivation and excuses. Amelia Brown shared, "Discipline is the fuel of achievement. Discipline is more reliable than fleeting inspiration." Lucas Boyd wrote, "Stay disciplined and success will find you." Discipline shapes a winning mindset through routine. Emma Clark observed, "To succeed, discipline your mind to stay on track. Discipline is consistent effort toward your goals." Jaden Cole wrote, "Discipline is consistent effort toward your goals. Discipline turns consistency into excellence." Oliver Brooks stated, "Consistency is what transforms average into excellence. Discipline helps you act even when you are not motivated." Eva Watkins noted, "Procrastination is the art of keeping up with yesterday." Discipline is the fire powering daily effort. Jordan Peterson affirmed, "Discipline is the foundation of a successful life." Ella Lane observed, "Great achievements require great discipline. Discipline makes success less about luck, more about effort." Ed Milet shared, "The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful is discipline. Discipline offers the structure that frees your potential." Samuel Oyewer said, "Whoever submits himself to a super discipline can expect great triumphs." Discipline outshines desire when you are tired and tempted. Sarah Bombell wrote, "The pain of discipline will never be as great as the pain of regret."